cat does not like children. Vårt barn liker ikke. Katten vår liker ikke barn.
De spiser ikke måltidet.
So we're doing a, what's it called? Assessment. End of level thing for Norwegian. De spiser, they eat. Ikke, the negative. Måltide. Silent T, that's the neuter agreement. Sorry, not agreement, that's the noun. It's the neuter ending.
De spiser ikke måltidet.
Måltide. De spiser ikke måltide. So very characteristic of Norwegian, if you're new to the language, is that two-syllable words tend to have a tonal upstep, with that second syllable having a reduced vowel, not a full e sound here.
Spiser.
Spiser, but more of an e quality.
De spiser ikke måltidet.
Måltide. For the tonal step there. They do not eat the meal, is the meaning. The scarves are hers. It's going to be hennes for hers. Skarvene hennes. Looks good.
Butikken selger T-skjorter.
Butikken, that's the definite. The shop, the boutique. Selger. Sells T-skjorter.
Butikken selger T-skjorter.
T-skjorter. The K no longer there as a stop. It's all
Skjorter.
3 consonants but 1 sh sound. 3 consonant letters, 1 consonant sound. Sells T-shirts. Glassne that's probably going to agree. Skitne. Bad. So enne here, plural definite.
Det en lomme.
We're not getting the answers here yet. We don't. I guess maybe if I go and search for it, you could find the breakdown, but you just get a passing or non-passing result.
Det en lomme.
Det silent T, I gotta listen for. It's just ER.
Det en lomme.
I forget, but an animate noun. Are we among them? Vi and among många blant dem with an object form. So blant preposition, dem the object form of they, so them, it's looking a lot like English. Instead of the, just the letter D for a voiced stop consonant. The.
Hvor familien din?
Hvor. Where is the din? Where's your family?
Hvor familien din?
Yen din. Where is? Just not showing the spelling with a J. And then din. The possessive can come after the noun. Sometimes. The dog is standing in front of the house. Hundene. Hundin. How does it say it? Hunden. It's not a full vowel there in syllable 2, but just consonants serving as vowels like we do in English in a word like button or bottom. Hunden. Stor. Yeah. Like star, the O on top of the A tells us that it's something like it's a low, it's between O, A. So A, intermediate, I think, at the time the character was created, and now more stor with a diphthong. The inflected form gets an R, stor. In front of, utanför, foran, huset, the house. Foran huset. So foran for in front of, same root as our English word, and hus is the same noun originally, back when these were all united as one speech community.
Mor og far.
Mother, O. So G. Let's get the, oh you can't, this is an assessment. Forget if it's G or CH.
Mor og far.
It's a review lesson you can do. I would be curious. Dang it.
Det en lomme.
Det en lomme. What's a lomme? Bokmal is what that variety that we're doing. Lomman, sack, pocket, lomme. Okay, welcome back to Language Institute. I'm your verb ally, Tonight's theme is Germania, the daughter languages of Proto-Germanic. So I'm probably not going to do English unless people are just demanding it. But aside from English, we've got German, Dutch, Yiddish, and of the North branch. So let's go geographically: Norwegian, which we're on now, Swedish, Danish. All descended quite recently from the same proto-language or common stage of development, 3-ish thousand years ago, I think. Here's our website, languageinstitute.com. We offer these languages classes with qualified teachers in these languages, and we're looking to add Arabic along the line: English, Korean, Spanish, Chinese, French, German, Japanese, Portuguese, Italian, and phonics and other kind of workshops. We have a lot of meetup events over Skype. You find us on Meetup, conversation hours in various languages. Okay, and we're here to learn everything. We're here to learn everything. We're here to learn everything. We're here to learn. Here to learn everything that Duolingo teaches. So I'm going to stay on Norwegian for a little bit. There. Swedish is coming up. I'll get to it next. Levi says that's not that recent. Romance languages. Yep, exactly. Well, in the wider scale of the family, I mean. So Proto-Indo-European, I don't know, what, 6,000 to 8,000 years ago? So more recently than that. Where am I going? Okay. Tell me if it's... That'll do. Okay, a road.
Åpen.
Open. Is that open?
Hvor?
Hvor. Written O, but a high vowel. Hvor. Vei.
En vei.
En vei. That's our word. Way is the cousin of this.
Lever han?
Han, is he alive? Han means he. So we see this inversion. I think of it, you have your basic declarative word order in a statement: subject, verb, and then whatever else needs to come. If you get the reverse order for those, verb,
Lever
to live,
han?
he, that shows a question. One way to express it is we front the verb. We move the verb word to the front of the whole sentence in a yes-no question. And English does it too. We just usually will insert a thing like do, unless there's some other special subclass of words like can, may, that can go in that spot before the negative. Lever han means is he alive? Is he living?
Han bor utenfor grensen.
Utenfor will be outside of. Grensen. It's like the German word. What's that remind you of, Levi? Grensen. He, han, he. Bor, lives. We have neighbor from this verb. The nearby liver. Utenfor.
Han bor utenfor grensen.
Utenfor grensen. Outside the borders. Looks singular. Maybe beyond. Utenfor. So, what about this grensen in Norwegian? We're going to review especially our standard German vocabulary as we go tonight. Grensen, border, definite, suffix on there. And this is not, again, as I say over and over, it's not a full syllable here. It's not grensen with an e there. As in German and English, it just weakens. This weak syllable, the vowel, either becomes a neutral schwa or drops out and the consonant steps in. Grensen, and not grensen.
Bakken er hard og kald. Bakken.
Definite form.
Bakken.
The ground. Bakken. The ground is hard and cold.
Kald og.
And is spelled with G. Bakken looks definite, right? Is the definite form of a noun is going to end either in the N or a T suffix. Hard, just spelled the same as ours, and cold. Grenzen is the plural form. Good. A singular Grenze. We use G for standard German today for simplicity. And if you don't know, if you're new to German, it's good to know that the Z is not a Z, like we say. This is now true of German. I'll put it here. The letter, these angle brackets, Z, which we all know and love at the end of our alphabet. In German, it stands for a Z sound, like in pizza. Die Pizza, feminine. It's this sound. We have it here and there in English too. So not a voiced Z fricative, but a TS sequence, an affricate here. Affricate is like a stop with just a delayed release of the closure. Z instead of T.
Noen dyr lever under bakken.
Noen.
Noen dyr lever under bakken. Dyr.
Some animal, I think.
Lever.
Could be plural. Some animals.
Under. Bakken.
Under the ground. Some animals. It looks like it means none, but it means some. It's noen. Yeah. Grenze. The German R of standard German, Bühnendeutsch, has a uvular trill there. Grenze. Or Grenze, if you're being hyper precise.
Jeg på vei.
Jeg på vei.
Jeg på vei. På.
On way. And I. So for MR is, every inflected form, it's just ER, in Norwegian. On the way, or on my way. Norwegian just upon way.
De sitter langs bordet.
On the table. They sit. They are sitting. Langs shares the root with our word along. This has a suffix or has a prefix added. The table. ET, the
bordet.
That's the definite marker.
De sitter langs bordet.
Langs bordet. De sitter langs bordet. The D has fused into the
bordet. Bakken hard og kald.
Hard og kald. Two silent consonants there, like you see.
Hard.
Similar to what you see in Korean, right? Liquid stop cluster getting simplified. Here's the outer consonant lost.
Hard.
Bakken hard og kald. Oh, bakken hard og kald. Bakken. Let me hear it again.
Bakken hard og kald.
Bakken hard og kald.
Bakken hard og kald. Kald.
E is really silent there too. We can get a consonant coming up. It's not gonna get in the way. It drops out, but we keep the spelling. Bakken hard og kald. Duck is down on the ground. Anden something på bakken. Anden, the duck. Yeah. Står nede på bakken. Står nede på bakken. På bildene, no. The ground. So, duck, the duck, definite. Anden. What's the German cognate there, Levi? So, A-N-D-E-N, but the D is going to be held in, kind of, anden, and N vocalized. Duck, definite form. So, in this little tag that I'm doing after the word form, we call this a gloss. The meaning part, the stem, shown with lowercase, and then any grammatical values that are pertinent, shown in the same position as the original word. So stem first. So stem here means duck. Not quite sure how far it goes, but the ending tells me definite, meaning the duck. Anden nede på bakken. Good. The ente. The German cognate. Die Ente. And die Grenze. Very many feminine nouns end in this weak Let's see. It's rare to find one that does have the but is not feminine. But they exist.
Vi kjører langs grensen.
Vi kjører, verb of motion, langs grensen, along the border. Driving. Makes sense. So if you're new to Duolingo, you can use these, what do they call them? I keep forgetting. You can either input the whole answer just by hand with a keyboard, what I usually do, or they have the word bank is the name. And Grimm's Law, that came up in our podcast today. Speaking of, you can find it here on our website under Things. We've got podcast 6 episodes out now. And we recorded the 7th today. So Grimm's has the starting point as a D voiced. High German, the second consonant shift. D voiced is that one to a T. This one could be just a loan from German. I don't know if that's a regular correspondence. Vi kjører langs grensen. We are driving along the border, same thing. Vi kjører langs, again, the same route as along.
De står langs veien.
They stand, they are along the way, along the road. De står langs veien. Is he alive? Lever han?
Noen dyr lever under bakken.
Some animals live under the ground.
Noen dyr lever under bakken.
Noen dyr lever under bakken. Hvor er grensen?
Guttene går langs veien.
So the E-N-E at the end of the noun here, guttene,
Guttene.
makes it plural definite. The boys go, they walk. The form is related to go, but the meaning is walk. It's more physical meaning, I think.
Veien.
Langs along the road. Guttene går langs veien. Guttene. Some animals live below the ground. Noen dyr lever under bakken.
Det en kort vei.
It is a short road. This is a short road. Det en kort vei. So that final T, maybe just when it's a grammatical marker, is silent but important. Well, silent but critical. We are driving along the border. Let's put it in. So kjører. Yeah, vi kjører. V is we. They have a fricative instead, but it reflects the same original word. Kjør with the weakened K. Langs for along. And then the suffix here marks definite. Grensen. There is existential. Der. So we say there is, it says that is. Der. A road. In vei. On the island. På island. Øyet. Øya. Øy. Nice. Øya for the definite. Det en vei på øya. So this with this øy or øya for island, that's very common in island names like Orkney, Shetney. What's that one? You know what I'm talking about. Jersey, I think. Orkney. Say that. A lot of these come from this this Norse word for island, which the root of this one is related to aqua. It's the water word, a derivative of that same root. So next, the very closely related Swedish. These really, we call them languages nowadays mainly because they're separate countries, so separate, independent politically, but they're on a close dialect continuum there. One, I think, a Swedish and Norwegian speaker, I've been told, can understand each other quite easily. But there are some differences, some quite important ones.
Hon använder sin bok.
Okay, we have that retroflexion happening when final R meets an S. It's not a sub sh, persevering with that retroflex quality, or something, some effect of the R.
Hon använder sin bok.
Använder sin bok. Because of where your tongue tip ends up at the end of the R, it's there in the position for sh. And Sanskrit had this change too. It's quite a mechanical sort of change to happen. Native speaker generally will not be aware that there's any difference between the shin and a sin unpreceded by the R. She uses, this one has a German cognate, använder. And let's think about what the root is of it. To uses X, uses Y. like to use these sort of algebraic ones to easily show, to let it be easily seen if it's transitive or intransitive. How many participants are there in a verbal clause with this verb? Here we see it with a subject and an object. That's worth noting, capturing if you can. She uses her book or his book.
Sin.
Her, his, its,
Sin.
their. Let's say her. Like her own. Använder sin bok.
Hon använder sin bok.
So written O, but really raised to an U. Same here for hon. Hon använder sin bok. So this sa to sha is really comparable to the Celtic mutation.
Mannen skrattar inte.
Dependent on the final segment of the governing word there. Mannen skrattar inte.
Mannen skrattar inte.
Could mean right.
Skrattar.
Laugh. It's like scratch, but laugh. So the meaning is, the inte is the negative, not. The man laughs not, does not laugh. Or is not laughing. I don't know which is worse.
Barnen gråter.
That is like screaming, crying.
Gråter.
Okay, and barnen, is that plural definite? Or singular?
Barnen.
The children, plural definite. Gråter. The verb is not helpful on that point. All the same form. And I forgot already what it was. The plural. The children cry.
Hon tvättar dina strumpor.
Tvättar dina strumpor. Plural ending here. She washes, tvättar. Dina, think of our archaic word thine, your socks.
Barnen gråter.
Barnen gråter with that modified A toward O, whereas the A with two dots is in the direction of an E, anticipating that quality. Gråter, gråtar, barn.
Barnen gråter.
Okay. Some verbs will have an A in this position. I'm sure.
Kvinnan visar sin klänning.
Kvinnan visar.
Kvinnan visar sin klänning.
Whitens.
Visar.
Shows. Causative. Visar. So on the topic of causative, been of interest. It's coming up in an upcoming Lango blog post. It'll be an important, relevant point. Norwegian. Visar means X shows Y to Z. Which is a causative of the seeing verb. Now we have ser, but this is from the Indo-visar. The root of that, Indo-European, is the root weighed. It's not related to the form ser, to see, X sees Y. The basic one is transitive, this seeing one, and the causative one means show. Cause Y to see Z, basically, is what show means. So the situation's like English, actually, just different roots in those two functions, but the meanings, it would appear to me, I don't know how you could really show that if you doubted it, the meanings of those two are linked in that certain way, share a component. Kvinnan visar sin klänning. So that's her dress, singular. Woman is singular definite. The woman shows her dress. Klänning is related to Kleidung,
Klänning.
like an abstract form. German says das Kleid for a dress. Same root.
Katten hoppar och leker.
English clothed and so on. They have that root. Katten hoppar och leker. The cat, singular. Hoppar, jumps. Oh, look at that. Wouldn't we have... Oh, this is Swedish. I thought we were still in Norwegian. Yeah. So you can get some interference if the languages you're studying too closely related languages. It's just something an extra hurdle, something to be mindful of. Och leker means and plays.
Hon leker.
She plays. She's playing. Hon leker. They do not listen. We write DE, it's pronounced dom in all cases. Lyssnar inte, I think. Lyssnar, the inflected present. Clearly close to our English verb, listen. And then just one word to negate it, inte. De lyssnar inte. He listens. Let's know what we've actually done today. Han lyssnar. Let's complete this circle.
Mannen stöttar kvinnan.
Stöttar. So the man, verb, the woman.
Kvinnan stöttar.
Supports. Okay, what's the cognate here, Levi? Stöttar. X supports Y. We'll do it in Swedish. What do we have in German? For stöttar, to support. Mannen, the man, stöttar kvinnan. Supports the woman. And our English word is romance origin. Latin root here, to carry, with the prefix sub under.
Hunden sitter.
Then, the dog, singular, definite. Sitter, inflected form of sit.
Han stöttar mig.
Han stöttar mig. He supports me. Han stöttar mig.
De pratar.
They talk. De pratar.
Barnen står.
The child stands. Barnen står. Children. Barnen.
Han sitter och hon står.
Han sitter och hon står. He sits and she stands.
Ja, det finns kaffe.
Ja, det finns kaffe. This would be pertinent to that causative and other valency altering operations. Finns, the root is that of find, and this S is an Old Norse reflexive suffix, fusion of sig, I think. Find self means there is X in a place. Det finns kaffe. Yes, there is coffee. In Norwegian we saw det är, D-E-T-E-R.
Jag tar en apelsin.
Jag tar, I take.
Jag tar.
Cognate. An apelsin is an orange. I take an orange.
Finns det kaffe?
And Levi, what do you make of that compound? Very good. Stützen, he's got it. That's stöttar, to support. Stützen, common with the prefix unterstützen. So a different ending here. This is the infinitive, the common citation form. I've got an inflected form up here. So don't think that the R and the N mean the same thing. There is no R suffix one. In German, it's in principle 6 different forms of the verb. Ich stütze, du stützest, and so on. Finns det kaffe? Finns det kaffe? So it looks like the country, the ethnonym Finn, but no connection there.
Fåglar flyger.
Fåglar flyger. Birds fly. And it's not definite, just the indefinite plural. Just that marker carries only that value of plural, not the suffix ar. Carries only the meaning plural, not definite. Flyger. Fly.
Barnen står.
This is plural, definite, children. So similar to the ene ending of Norwegian, are standing. Apfelsine. Apple of China, right. Explained it many streams ago. How good. That happies me. So we are in Swedish here. German has a cognate. Apelsine means orange. It looks like it's a derivative of apple, but it doesn't mean apple. It comes from an old compound. I'm just surmising. German has Apfelsine, feminine. Apfelsine. It's a compound meaning apple of implied China. So a head initial compound. Unusual for Germanic. Our family strongly prefers a head final if it's a sort of subtype noun compound. Like bluebird, if that's a word. Blackbird, a compound like that. That's one type of subtype. Many subtypes of subtype compounds. Alright, let us leave the north branch of the family for a while. Sort of reset the palette. Let's go to Dutch, which was the language I learned to read and write in when I was 3 or 4. Quite mercifully, I think, because it's a very close phonetic match between the letters and the actual pronunciation. Very, very close orthography. It's a great one to learn in.
Jullie schrijven boeken.
So SCH,
Schrijven.
unlike German where it's a sh, in Dutch it's a cluster, a sequence of s and ch, and now here also followed by a r.
Jullie schrijven boeken.
Schrijven boeken. Jullie is grammatically third person, means you people. It's a plural pronoun. The second person meaning, but again, third person agreement, like você in Portuguese, usted in Spanish. You write. Schrijven. This is from Latin, this verb, an old borrowing. Boeken. Here, this N suffix of Dutch is a plural marker. What's the German plural of boek? The book cognate. You write books.
Jullie lopen niet.
Jullie lopen niet. I think run, like laufen, and leap is the English cousin. Do not walk. The shift in meaning. Lopen for walk. I think English elope comes from this Dutch root. Exactly. German Bücher. So we need to start a new category for Dutch. Language of the Netherlands. And also forms a dialect continuum with its neighbor German. They each have their separate written standard forms, but there's a chain of mutually intelligible intermediate forms along the way, from city to city. Lopen niet. What am I doing here with the Dutch? We were talking about die Bücher. So boeken, plural, suffix. My gloss here, my little tag, shows the meaning first, lowercase, and the N has a grammatical value of plural. And the German related form has the same root, with umlaut, vowel mutation, and an R suffix instead. This means books. Die Bücher, since it's plural, it's only going to have a D article in the nominative.
De vogels lopen niet.
The birds do not walk. Different plural here, as from German, so that detail is very, very common. It'll have the easily identifiable cognate word, but a different ending on it. German is pretty complex in the variety of ways it shows plural on noun stems. De vogels lopen niet. De vogels lopen niet. This word final N is very often going to be dropped when you've got a consonant following, maybe elsewhere too.
Ik schrijf geen menus.
Menus. Ik schrijf. So we saw it with a voiced fricative in the plural, schrijven. Here the fricative is final, that labial sound, and it is devoiced in sound and spelling. I schrijf geen. This is a negative determiner. No menus. In English, it sounds better to negate the verb instead. I don't write menus.
Jij drinkt en schrijft.
Jij, also plural you, I think. Yeah, the T lines up with that. Ihr trinket. Je trinkt. I think it's the you plural form. and schrijft, you write.
Ik loop.
I walk.
Loop ik.
Walk the loop. So note that the singular verb forms tend to have a double vowel if it's long, whereas the plural two-syllable forms have a single vowel letter, but the vowel is still long phonetically.
Loop ik.
Loop ik. So it's plural. Note the inversion. It's a question. Am I walking?
De man loopt.
Okay, the man. Really close to English in the word order, and it's easily transferable. You can just look at it, squint a little bit, and the English kind of pops out. If you know what looped means, it's walks.
Jij drinkt en schrijft. Jij drinkt en schrijft.
Drink, you plural, and you write. Jij drinkt en schrijft. It's kind of like an accusation.
Jullie lopen niet.
Lopen. Long O.
Lopen.
Plural meaning here. Plural form, rather. Plural form and plural meaning. Jullie, you all, do not walk. Lopen niet. So, post-verbal negation, interdeclarative, which in English it really is too, because do is the inflected verb. Post-verbal. It's modifying the word in front of it.
Ik kook rijst.
Exactly. Lopen is laufen. So in Dutch it means, it's the infinitive, to walk. So let's keep in the same style as the other ones. Walk, the stem comes first, that's the meaningful part. And infinitive, just like to use these abbreviations to convey the message of that suffix. Laufen, exactly. So German preserves G for Standard German. The diphthong, laufen. And English does in our spelling. In Old English it was, I think it had a hlaupaną. It was like that. And that's given our modern English, M-N-E, leap, which means jump now. So laufen basically means run. In the southern variety that I grew up speaking, southern variety of Standard German, High German, High German, laufen also meant walk. We sort of knew it as both. In some contexts, run, but locally, just walk at any pace, not high speed. Ik kook, this is a verb borrowed from Latin, a Latin noun, I think. Ik kook rijst. And this one is not a meaning.
Rijst.
It's got this extra consonant in the word for rice. I cook rice.
Hij kookt een aardbei.
Here, this T is meaningful. It's the he, she subject agreement marker. He, she, it, it'll get a T, which lines up with the he hath of our older stages of English. Hij is the stressed form of the pronoun. He cooks a strawberry. With loss of the R, unless it's a different root. Aard is the earth.
Zwem ik niet.
Zwem ik niet. Swim I not. Do I not swim? Are we not men?
Ik zwem.
Swimming? Ik zwem. Ik zwem.
Wij zwemmen.
We swim. So voiced initial. True of German too. Well, not in this word. Map where in Germany? Certainly, happy to. Let's do it over here. So the nearest big city is Stuttgart in the state of Baden-Württemberg in the southwest corner. Let's just find our way over. Mosey over yonder. So we were 2 or 3 hours from the French border. Stuttgart's here. It's the biggest city in that corner of Germany. And we were, so between Stuttgart and the French border, in here. So the first place we lived for several years is Weissach. So where are we? We're just north, no, just a little bit northish, but west of Stuttgart. Yeah, Leonberg was a nearby larger town. Weissach was our house where we were from 91, 92 to 95. And then we moved to Renningen there for 5, 6 years. This part. So Böbling was the county seat. Oh, there you go. So drive over here. Baden-Baden was on the way. Strasbourg, the French border city, clearly a Germanic place name. This region went back and forth over the centuries a lot, which country it belonged to. And there we go. So, about there. Between Stuttgart and Paris, it's pretty level, east to west, and we were just one step in between there on the Stuttgart side.
Ze koken pasta.
We lived in the Netherlands, again in the south, in this region. Let's see, Heerlen was close by. We were real close to the German borders, and Landgraaf, this area. Heerlen, yeah, so I think out in here is where we lived when I was about 3 to 6 years old, a little southern spur of the Netherlands, which is where this is spoken that we're learning now.
Ze koken pasta.
Ze is the weak form, they cook.
De eend zwemt.
The 8, there's our friend again. Duck swims or is swimming. You, je, let's use ye, stressed, cooked, the plural you. Kip is chicken. Jullie koken kip, you could also say. Yes, ja, de vark, the pig. As in aardvark, comes from Afrikaans, I think, a dialect of Dutch, an offshoot. De vark zwemt. Zwemt with an E. Het varken, okay, it's a neuter. It's het like, well, think of the North Germanic T suffix there, neuter form. Here the article always precedes the noun. Yes, the pig is swimming. Ja, het varken. And it's an end stem noun. Very interesting. German has Ferkel, like a diminutive, for a little piglet. From this same root. Zwemt, just a single M is all we need. Got cluster. Yay, 3 dotted letters in a row. Yeah, another cool one is, so I remember in books of those, in like printing of that time in the early 80s, mid 80s, the IJ was a single letter and it looked like a Y with umlauts. Let's look that up. I bet this would have an entry on it. IJ. It's a unit. It's a diphthong, so it's kind of a sequence of 2 sounds, but a single phoneme in Dutch. Okay, these are words. I want the. Yeah, so capitalized together because it was a single thing in Dutch. Ah, well, oh, there's a word too. This is the island word. The IJ. And what does this link to? Dictionary, IJ English. A lake. Aqua, that word. That derivative of the same aqua word. Alright. And that's it. So let's leap over to another West Germanic one. West Germanic branch, Yiddish. On a bit of a streak with it, I think 4th day in a row or so.
Ich wohne in Russland. Ich wohne in Russland.
Diphthong. Ich wohne in Russland. And live in Russia. So, wohn. Oh, I gotta keep track up here what we've done. We did Dutch and now Yiddish. Ich wohn. So this wohn is what I wanted to note. X lives in place. German has, what's that, Levi? What's our, oh yeah, nice dotted Eddie. It's the German cognate of wollen, this verb. And then what are English cognates of that one? I want to know next. Exactly. Wohnen, and so that has some nice derivatives too. Verwohnen, verwöhnen, gewohnt sein, gewöhnlich, so on. Quite an important root. What English words do you know that are related to wollen and wohnen? Standard German reduces the vowel there to wohnen, with just a long M sound. Same meaning, lives in place. English one's also going to start with a wa. What do you know? So I mentioned a couple derivatives there. Gewöhnlich, customary. Three letters missing there for our English cognate.
Ja, ich bin ein Chineser.
Ja, ich bin a Chineser. Ja, yes. Ich bin, I am, a Chineser, a Chinese person. Alright, that was a little too literal. But I think still correct. Ich bin a. So we have this invariant indefinite article. It's a for all genders. In Yiddish.
Ich bin nicht kein Japaner.
And the old preserved harmonic negation in the verb phrase as well as on the noun.
Ich bin nicht kein Japaner.
I am not Japanese is the meaning. Ich bin nicht kein Japaner.
Wie wohnst du?
Wie wohnst du? Fused question form of the verb. Wie meaning where, like wo, and still so spelled. Wohnst du? Where do you live? It's got a really cool look. The V sequence with 3 parallels, and then in the very next word also the 3 parallels for residence. We're building a nice house up on struts. Any ideas? I'll give you the next letter. Cognate of wohnen. Wie wohnst du?
Von wannen kommst du?
Fin wannen. Yeah, fun becoming fin. Wannen is a nice. So that's was part of my experience of German still in archaic literary context. Von wannen is a special ablative form, from where.
Von wannen kommst du?
English has the archaic word whence. Von wannen. So fin, and use the U. Von wannen. From whence is redundant, really. The word whence at one time expressed meaning from in a single word. So where do you come from? Where are you from? Okay, as you wish.
Der Nomen stammt von Japanisch.
Der Nomen
Der Nomen stammt von Japanisch.
stammt. Recognize this, Levi. Yiddish. Use a $ for a sh to get in a single space. Stammt. Fun means X derives from, comes from Y. Der Nomen comes from, stammt von Japanisch. Stressed in the middle, I think.
Der Nomen stammt von Japanisch.
Japanisch, yeah. From Japanese, with the ish language suffix that we have in English, in both the word and the language. Ish for languages for our neighboring ones, and then other suffixes for more recently acquainted languages. Speech communities.
Von wannen kommt dein Mann?
Von wannen, again, from where. Kommt.
Von wannen kommt dein Mann?
Spelled kommt. Standard German kommt. One blank in the English should be an N, yes. That is a good guess. Won't, meaning habit or custom. It's kind of an archaic English word now. Wonted. Or it might even be pronounced want. I'm not really sure how it sounds. I see it spelled. Yeah, the noun. Wunne. Apparently, origin uncertain. Conflation of wunne and want. Parts of adjective. Gewoonte, gewoonte. Wonne, wonder, ween, and win. From European wenig. Or win. With a glottal stop. Who knows? One's habitual way of doing things, custom, habit, practice. Mio more. And here's an adjective, won't. But what's the sound? Won't, want? Owned. So it's all there. Want, want. This is the American. Won't or want. And in the most prestigious British variety, won't, want. So vowel all over the place. Really more of an I word than a living word of the ear and the mouth. Here we go. Zin.
Van wanneer komt dan maan?
So the F is undotted. Fin vanen kimt din dan man. Where does your husband come from? Which does it want? Your husband from? Kimt.
Maan.
To me. So spelling kumt, and this u regularly has shifted forward. It sounds now as kimt. And the unlike consonants, the sequence there in different places is noteworthy. Not all languages can allow that. Kimt, X comes from place is the meaning. And so it's in its vowel quite different from kommt. I think this German one is later regularized, kommen from the infinitive. So I think this mutation. No, it's not mutated. It's the u. Well, kommen, kommen. Gothic, the oldest recorded of any length Germanic variety, has quiman. The Q stands for qua, we think, a single consonant. Quiman, to come. So it was originally an e or I vowel here, and the labiovelar just colored it to a back vowel in most daughter languages. Quiman. And further beyond, we have Latin venio, and Greek bino from the same root.
Van wanneer stammt sie?
Von wannen stammt sie. As he was wont to do. Exactly, that's the word. So it's, as we saw, adjective or noun. As was my wont. You might occasionally see. Keep an eye out for it. So preserves the old Germanic meaning of a habit or custom. Both those words, habit and custom, come from Latin. So wonnen, this won't, is the word that it displaced, that those displaced. Von wannen, where from? Stammt sie, where is she from? Let's use the word bank. Does she come from? As you wish.
Sie ist eine Japanerin.
Japanerin.
Sie ist eine Japanerin.
With the E sort of syncopated there. She is, we make it abstract in English, not Japanese, but Japanese. But it's indefinite. Japanese
Japanerin.
person. The in suffix of Yiddish, female, human. Man, my husband, is a Japaner. My husband is Japanese. So man is a Japaner. Japaner. I'll be there.
Sie ist eine Japanerin.
Japanerin. Sie. There.
Sie
Is
a
Japanerin.
Japanerin.
The dotted P letter tells us it's a stop. Undotted, it's a F. Dot stop. It's nice and intuitive, really.
Sie stammt von China.
Sie stammt, she comes from China. Von China.
Ist dein Mann ein Chineser?
Ist dein Mann a Chineser? Is your husband Chinese?
Verwus kommen sie nicht?
Farvus, why? Kimmt sie nicht? Do we hear the T?
Verwus kommen sie nicht?
Nicht. We do. We have a sentence finally, at least. Why isn't she coming? Is she not coming?
Ja, ich bin ein Chineser.
Ja, ich bin a Chineser.
Ja, ich bin ein Chineser.
Nei, with a diphthong there, which German does not have. There. Yes, I am Chinese.
Von wannen kommst du?
Von wannen kommst du? Fused. Where do you come from? Nice. Alright, let's go back to Swedish, since that was one that was actually requested. I probably look like I'm sidestepping that challenge. I did actually get to go spend a week or so in Sweden in high school. Lovely country. Would love to go back.
Vad läser du?
Vad läser du? What are you reading with that inversion? What read you? Read it with your laser. The laser eye. Meaning reading. These are what I use for my reading my laser eyes.
Vart springer hon?
Vart.
Vart?
Interesting. So, meaning toward, an allative form of where. To where. Where does she springa?
Springer.
Jump or run to? Where does she run? Unto where does she run to?
Vad läser du?
Läser du? What are you reading? Vad läser du? This U written, Swedish is quite fronted. It's really the U, front rounded vowel.
Vems klänning är det?
Vems. In English we have whose with just fricative.
Vems.
No nasal there. Whom's would be a closer match for this. Whose dress är det? Is it? With inversion.
Var är djuret?
Var är djuret? Var, so with the R ending where is the animal. Definiteness shown by the T suffix which we hear.
Var är djuret?
Djuret. Swedish preserves that, unlike the cousin languages, but it drops the D from this cluster.
Var är djuret?
The djuret. Oops.
Vems klänning är det?
Vems klänning är det? Whose dress is it? Vems klänning är det? Here we drop the T in det, but as a suffix, it's there.
Hur läser ni?
Hur läser ni? How? Ni, you, yeah, you plural. Like Chinese. How do you read? What that means. Hur, I think closer informed to why of English. Looks like a wheeze of Germanic.
Vi äter många smörgåsar.
Vi äter många smörgåsar.
Vi äter många smörgåsar.
The S sounds long here.
Vi äter många smörgåsar.
Smörgåsar. We are eating many sandwiches.
Hur lagar du mat?
Hur
lagar du mat?
How do you make food? How do you cook?
Lagar du
With the inversion. Verb, subject,
mat?
Food, the object. Mat is, I think, our word meat, which became specialized in English. We no longer say flesh for the food. Say this mat, food word instead. Who, vem.
Vem?
Vem. So closer in form to our word whom, but nominative meaning here. Why do you drink? What's it? Hur dricker du? Så ja, hur och varför.
Varför?
Varför dricker
Dricker du?
Note that the verb drink in Swedish has I with the letter I, while the noun a drink has an U spelled with Y. Dryck, en dryck. I find that quite fascinating. It's a pattern I might have overlooked. Let me spell it out a little clearer. Swedish. So, en dryck with a Y-U sound is the noun, a drink. In English, the noun and the verb, drink, drink, they match. But this, I think, this difference in Swedish, dricka, infinitive, to drink, shows that in the proto-language, sorry, CK, long K sound, these were different forms. This one would have been a drunki, and this one, dränkana. Anna with a nasal. Dränkana, to drink, something like that. And here, with zero grade of the root with a weakened syllable there, drunki, with an abstract, some kind of E suffix which caused umlaut there. Dryck. Drunkis, maybe, something. And these forms that I'm writing here are from the sort of triangulated earlier language stage, which we call Proto-Germanic, several thousand years ago. So when you look at the close similarities between the daughter languages, the most elegant explanation as to why. It's certainly not coincidence that they all are alike and are neighboring, spoken in neighboring territories. Just that they derived by the spreading of peoples across the continent into various daughter languages over the course of centuries. Okay. I think Standard German would be called for a time like this. So let me know what questions or points pop up that are of interest or puzzlement or any of that. Accusative case is our topic.
Sie trinkt das Wasser.
Direct object is going to be accusative. Das neuter. She is drinking the water. And these words correspond, they're cousins. We have a T.
Wasser.
It shifted here to a S. Short vowel, by the way, the new German standard spelling,
Wasser.
20 years ago or so, that was implemented.
Wasser.
Double S letter tells you it's a short vowel, Wasser. Question, how long do people, okay, I thought it was just that. Do people have to be apart before their speech becomes different languages? As long as it takes to acquire an army and a navy.
Ein Mann liest die Zeitung.
Man is reading the newspaper. You know, I bet if you looked in the records of Icelanders who have the highest literacy rate in the world, a very strong literary tradition, and the Norwegians and the other Norse languages, about when they could not understand their cousins in Iceland, when the Norse and the Icelanders stopped being able to understand each other easily. There's probably some documentary evidence of that going on, but I have no knowledge of that part of the world, unfortunately. It'd be fun to look into.
Sie trinkt die Milch.
Okay. Direct object,
Milch.
accusative in the neuter and the feminine, das die. These cases, nominative, accusative, they look alike. So let's do a quick recap. I'm going to be throwing out these fancy grammar terms quite a bit. Let me give you a little guide to it. So in grammar, it's important to distinguish the form or form class from its function. We often use labels for these interchangeably. So when I say acute nominative, let's do a double gap for that, for the heading. Nominative, nom for short. The most common use of that, there are more than one, is case of a subject, noun phrase, and others. Accusative. There's 4 total. Let's just do them as we get to them. No need to overburden yourself right at the outset. Main function is object of a verb. So trinken, to drink. We have a doer, a drinker, and the thing drunk. That's the object. Sie trinkt die Milch. You spell this one with an S, but it's a voiced Z sound. Oh, and Peter would be a good person to ask that question, Levi, how long it takes. How much time it takes for languages to diverge into unintelligibility. I bet you Austronesian provides many, although since there's no written records until recently, I don't know, he might have some good insight on that topic.
Ihr esst den Apfel.
Ihr esst. This is one of the rarest present tense verb forms. It's got the unmutated stem S with the T suffix. That's
Hier.
you plural. You all eat the apple. And here we see you are eating, rather. Definite, the apple. Now this one, not der as in the nominative, but den. So, looking at actual word forms, der is a definite article, meaning the, and it's masculine singular. It expresses all these categories. Masculine singular, and it's not, I should say, nominative case there. Singular means it's just one entity being referred to, and the gender is masculine. And now we see den. Apfel is a masculine noun. It's only going to get a certain subset of the articles. This is also the definite article. That stays, and it's accusative. So this object form. Because the apple is the thing eaten, it's going to be in an accusative case. We don't see any change to the noun itself, but the article tells us this information. Den with a long vowel. Singular and masculine is as above. Just this one category change is shown by this difference here. For feminine, for neuter, the two articles are going to be the same. And if you're new to German, it's good to know that it's die, feminine, das, neuter. Not M, but N. Neuter means neither masculine nor feminine.
Liest die Bücher.
He, liest, reads, die Bücher. There's that plural form that we were mentioning, looking at the Norse one. I will ask him, new question, why is it called case? Fall in German, yes. They're like calcs. What does the word case come from, the English word? Case. What's the origin of it? Latin casus. And the verb root behind that is cadere, to fall. Short a and the verb belonging in the noun, to fall. So a case is a falling. It comes from Greek, actually. It was a calque of the Greek grammarian's word ptosis. So an abstract feminine noun from the pet root of falling and flying. Ptosis means grammatical case, and it comes from this noun of falling. So maybe like the words are leaves and you throw them on the ground. Their falling is the position that they land in. I don't know. I don't know what the metaphor is. Like maybe like a die. Dice, the fall. They're going to show up on one of their sides. There is no way to refer to it without using one of those word forms.
Eine Frau isst den Apfel.
Just like a die has to be on one side. It's not going to be staying on its edge or on a corner.
Eine Frau isst den Apfel. Frau.
It sounds just like the verb is.
Isst.
This one with a double S, eats. And then we see that Grimm's 2, the second Grimm's shift. English T in eat to the S sound, like in Wasser too. Frau isst den Apfel. Must be.
Den Apfel.
Apfel is a masculine.
Eine Frau isst den Apfel.
Den, accusative case, tells me that it's the object form of the noun. He has water.
Hat Wasser.
He reads the books.
Liest.
This is related to that leser that we're looking at. I think. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. He reads the books.
Die.
Looks like the feminine, but it's just all plural ones go like that. Die.
Bücher.
Whatever the gender, the articles look alike in the plural.
Ich habe keine Ahnung.
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 In Yiddish the other day. I have no idea. It's interesting. Yeah, so keine Ahnung. Ahnung is nowadays, I think, mainly used in this negative construction. It would sound a bit weird to say ich habe keine Idee, because Idee is about a specific one. Keine Ahnung haben is like no idea, no plan. And in the affirmative, ich habe eine Ahnung, it means like a premonition or like an intuition rather than an idea, I guess.
Wir haben Wasser.
Wir haben Wasser, we have. So the difference is Ahnung is a native German word, and Idee comes through French, ultimately from Greek. Wir haben Wasser. So related words, every one, in the same order. Those are symptoms of these being closely related languages.
Ihr habt einen Apfel.
Plural, y'all have an apple. Einen. This
Apfel. Einen.
gives me related information. Got more than one article. Der, these are definite forms here. The identity is like understood between speaker and hearer. Definite is the term for that. Category and grammar. Here we see indefinite, where it's not the case. So a word like einen has these two parts. It means a. And the information conveyed here, I need to look at the surroundings too.
Einen.
There's multiple einen. There's multiple en endings. From this one, I extract that it's singular, so it's nominative, singular, one apple. It can only be singular. SG singular only. So we don't really need to say that here, but masculine, and not nominative. Accusative. So that same suffix in den, or related in any way, maybe not the very same. Einen, den. These are related. They tell me this. Accusative of a masculine is what that signals.
Ihr habt Brot.
Ihr.
Ihr habt
P is written, but it's devoiced. Sounds as a P.
Brot.
Sie haben Milch.
Haben. Note how the en suffix here. Case endings are non-accusative. Raisinese, Mr. Man, Sir. Case endings are der, die, das, die. Oh, that's how it works. I've seen a similar abbreviation. I could not figure out what those things refer to. Den, die, das, die. It's just the last letters. How cool. Dem, der, dem, den, das. Wait, what? I don't think. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. It goes. Nominative, der. I don't quite follow that. Sie haben Milch. They. This could also mean
Sie.
you, respectful form, have milk.
Hast du ein Buch?
Du is intimate. Hast thou. Do you have? So we have these really much closer word forms in English. They've become archaic. You hear them in the Bible and in older literature. Hast thou corresponds
Hast.
really exactly segment for segment with the German hast du. Same ending, same pronoun. You boys have. We've changed the construction for asking a question now. We need do and so a helping verb and a main verb. You have ein Buch, a book.
Ein.
This one, indefinite. And one way to think about it is the suffix is 0. It has a grammatical value. These all mean a. This one is here, accusative, neuter. Do you boys? Yeah, where did that come from? They have books. Sie haben Buch. Not quite. Sie haben Bücher. This one sounds bad. Bad. Buch. Sie haben Buch. As in English, singular countable noun wants some article with it. A book or the book. They have book. Could exist with a certain idiomatic meaning, but otherwise.
Du hast ein Buch.
You have a book. Du hast ein Buch.
Hast du ein Buch?
Wheeler fricative here. In the non-palatal environment, du hast du, inversion, do you have a book? There was also a request for Norwegian. Maybe we'll return to that for a bit. Not sure if the person's watching, but in case you are, here we go. Location.
Et speil.
Et bilde. En vegg.
Vegg is not a way, but a wall.
Et bilde.
Interesting that it's two syllables. Das Bild is also neuter in German for picture.
Et speil.
Spiegel, this was from Latin ultimately. Speculum, the looking tool. Or a short vowel, speculum, speculum. Not sure.
Et bilde.
So et for neuter, a picture.
En vegg.
En vegg. Hard G.
Et speil.
Speil, lowering of the nucleus.
Et bilde. Frakken henger på døren.
Frakken is a coat. Henger på døren.
Frakken henger på døren.
Henger with a strong upward leap there.
Døren henger.
From syllable 1 to 2. The coat hangs on, på means upon, døren, the door, definite.
Speilet henger over bordet.
The mirror, okay, neuter, masculine in German, that's common if it's a loan word, as this one is. Der Spiegel, but neuter here.
Speilet.
Speile is hanging above the table. Speilet henger over bordet. A wall.
Et speil. Et bilde.
Bilde. So there's a couple accent patterns. Not bilde, but bilde.
En vegg. Et bilde.
Bilde. Where it is a true e here. Not raised and not weakened.
En vegg.
Anim collapse.
Kniven og gaffelen ligger ved siden av tallerkenen.
Kniven og gaffelen. Let me just list.
Kniven og gaffelen ligger ved siden av tallerkenen.
Ligger ved
Kniven og gaffelen ligger ved siden av tallerkenen.
siden chair.
Siden.
Next to, ved siden of. With the side
Siden.
of. With meaning against. The old form with, ved. Tallerkenen. The plates. The knife, singular, and the
Gaffelen.
fork. Lie, literally are. The knife and the fork. Are ved siden, beside, to the side of, next to. Of tallerkenen, of the plate. Okay, it looks plural, but it's singular. That's the
Tallerkenen.
dish. The knife and the fork are next to the plate. Kniven og gaffelen ligger ved siden av tallerkenen.
Kniven og gaffelen ligger ved siden av tallerkenen.
Ved siden av tallerkenen.
Restauranten ligger ved siden av butikken.
Restauranten.
Restauranten.
So sounded as in Swedish. Okay, thank you, Levi. Let's see. Dative, dem der, dem den, which is shown by the third string. Yeah. Dem, so each one is a case. Der, die, das, die. Den, die, das, die. Dem, der, dem, den. And then genitive des, der, des, der. Okay, cool. Thank you, Levi. That's very nice. Resenese, Murmens, Srser. Looks a bit like SPQR from a distance. Eeny, so I remember somebody saying 20 years ago something like eeny, meeny, Mr. Man. The Mr. Man I see here in the dative one. That's good. So it condenses the paradigm into a few strings of letters there. Okay, so it's not restauranten. Since this is a word from French which has a nasalized a here, restaurant, restaurant. The sound has an eng consonant. Restauranten.
Restauranten ligger ved siden av butikken.
Swedish spells it with ng, but Norwegian keeps the French spelling.
Ligger ved siden
This is to against the side.
av
Muscles.
restauranten. Ligger ved siden
Siden.
av Butikken.
It's next to the shop. The restaurant lies next to the shop.
Ser du veggene?
Ser du veggene? Do you see the walls? Nice.
Bildene er der.
This is the plural definite, I do believe. The pictures are there.
Bildene henger på veggen.
The pictures hang on the wall. Bildene henger på veggen. The pictures hanging next to the mirror. Speilen. Speile. Neuter. Bildet henger ved siden av speilet. Speile.
Bildet henger ved siden av speilet.
Speile. The picture hangs next to the mirror. Mirror is hanging over bordet, above the table. Speilet henger over bordet.
Speilet henger over bordet.
The mirror hangs above board. We have board meaning table in English as well. Flat surface of wood hangs above the table. Connected, I think, to these Norse words. A lot of Norse influence in English that we're not necessarily even aware of. Window, sky, they, them, their. Those are all Norse borrowings. Egg. The restaurant lies next to the shop. So restauranten ligger ved siden av butikken. It's gotta be. Ligger ved siden av butikken.
Jeg hører ham gjennom veggene.
Gjennom among.
Gjennom.
Curious what that's connected to. Gjennom, through. And it sounds like we're dropping the g. Bord also means table in Irish. Oh, that could be due to the Vikings. That's a good point. Let's look that up next if I forget. Give me a reminder. Gegen. Through. Okay, yeah. So against of English, I think, will be like this. Will be connected to this. Gjennom. Through and through. As an adverb. As preposition, through, during. With help from, via. Gjennom. And we have also igjennom. Wow. Comes from gegnum. Oh, and the E is probably in, fused into it. Dative of yegn. Gjennom. So the g has assimilated into the n. Gjennom. Jeg hører ham gjennom veggene. Hear him. Ham means him. And bord. Let's look that up in Irish. Since there's several board words, you can put a hashtag and name the language. Jump right to that. From Middle Irish, Manx, Scottish Gaelic. From Old English, bord. 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 Does it get a vowel inserted? These are showing that it's a velarized quality. Bord. Pictures. Bildene henger på veggen.
Ser du veggene?
See the walls, plural. Ser du veggene? I hear him. Jeg. What is it? Lyssnar. Hører. Ham. Gjennom. Gjennom. Veggene. The walls, plural. The restaurant lies next to the shop. So, same spelling, restaurant. Indefinite. Ligger. Lies, intransitive. Ved. Against. Siden. Siden. Siden, yeah. So, English side, German Seite. Of. And then butikken from the French noun, which is ultimately from Greek. For shop. Levi, do you know the origin of boutique? We may have mentioned that many months ago. It's kind of a fun one. shows an interesting sound change. Oh yeah, this group will be good for B-O-U, boo. So back rounded vowel. I-K, boutique, shop in French. What's the ultimate Greek source of that? F for French, not any Germanic language. Let's use a more standard abbreviation. What else have we got in the family? Danish. Do I dare? Danish is quite different in sound from the others. Some pretty prepositions.
En mus rører ved en elefant.
Mus rører ved en elefant.
En mus rører ved en elefant.
Ved again? With or against?
Ved.
Oh, wait. Okay, but this can
Rører. Ved.
touches with. So that's interesting. I think it means a mouse, en mus, common gender,
En mus rører ved en elefant.
touches an elephant. Yeah, so touch in Danish is
Ved.
intransitive. To be in contact. Ours is too, that English construction. Okay, a new Germanic language. Not new. New Germanic language drop. New for us today. I don't know where. This is some German info. And now we're talking about Danish from Denmark. Rører means X touches. Is in contact with Y. Intransitive. Pretty interesting. So German has, what's the cognate there for rører, meaning touch? It's got a B prefix and then the root R. Boutique. Yeah. Boutique is the cousin of Spanish bodega. With that in mind, maybe that can help you pin down the Greek. It's a little bit closer in the structure, in the vowels. Bodega. Let me get you started. Apo is the prefix.
Jeg skriver i min bog.
Skriver i min bog. So as in Irish too, the in preposition has become e.
Jeg skriver i min bog.
In my book. It's pretty oblique and abstract. Let me just spell this one out. Apotheke. Long etas there for a store place, right? Is it like a drug cabinet or something? What is apotheke? Like a storehouse, I think. Let's see. I just go to bodega. So it's kind of cool. You can see that you can perceive the sequences of the sound changes from this input, apotheca in Latin. The B must have voiced from the P before that A dropped out. Otherwise it would have had no motivation to. Same for this B. And it preserves the T better. Boutique. Probably because this was a stressed syllable. Apotheke in Latin, at least. Boutique. And also without devoicing of that one. But this one weakened. Okay, etymology. Apotheke, storehouse. Repository, warehouse. So boutique and bodega mean warehouse. It's on some level, etymologically. A putting away place is the meaning of the compound. A put away. Jeg skriver i min bog.
De tager hans børn fra ham.
De tager, they take.
Tager.
Hans børn is terrible. take Hans Bjørn his children from him. I need to put that.
Jeg skriver i min bog.
Trigger happy. Jeg skriver i min bog.
Jeg skriver i min bog.
Short and vowel there. Jeg skriver i min bog. Lots of consonant weakenings, as you can. Yeah, apothecary is related to that. In Danish, the consonants are dropping out and mutating the vowels, but ceasing to be sounded as independent things.
I er ikke fra Danmark.
Jeg er ikke fra Danmark. Note that the very often, if it's an alveolar consonant following, will move forward to get fronted to an fronted and raised a bit. This is I am not from Denmark. Our English spelling of Denmark captures the sound. Yeah, it looks like I. It's jeg.
I er ikke fra Danmark.
Yeah, it's hard to hear the difference there too, but spelled like I means you.
Jeg er fra Danmark. Jeg er fra Danmark.
Spelled Danmark. That sequence Dan is apparently barred. Den, which is the similar change to what you see in Tibetan.
Han arbejder i Danmark.
Modern dialects. Han arbejder i Danmark. This pronoun too.
Han.
Not han. Swedish still says han, but it's shifted here. He works. This related to the German arbeiten, as mentioned the other day. I Denmark. In Denmark.
Jeg er fra Danmark.
I am from. Jeg er fra Danmark.
De rører ved den.
It touches with it. It's touching. They are touching it. They touch it, we could say. And our verb touch is from Latin, toccare, or Romance anyway. Greek is interesting. Rarely do you see negation without N in Indo-European. Yeah, there's a few. Greek, all the negation is non-N. But that's a good observation. Yeah. Ike, the Swedish cognate is inte, which does have the N. But think of German kein. That does still have an N technically, but not as the initial, as the first part. Kein, and we saw Dutch geen. Afrikaans with the same word. Determiner, not any, not a, none. Geen van alle.
Han arbejder i Danmark.
Denmark. Han arbejder i Danmark.
Vi arbejder i Danmark.
We work in Denmark.
Du rører ikke ved den.
Du rører ikke ved den. You are not touching with it. You aren't touching it.
De tager hans børn fra ham.
De tager hans børn fra ham. So we see the possessive,
Hans
his,
tager.
and then the object, ham, the accusative. They, well, whatever it is, maybe it would be dative. I don't know if we have a case distinction here. They take his børn, his children, from him.
I er ikke fra Danmark.
You er ikke fra Danmark. You are not from Denmark, you spy. There we go.
Han spiser aftensmad uden kød.
Okay, so this D is what I was just talking about. No longer a duh sound,
Aftensmad.
but it's affecting the way that the ah is sounded. It's shifted forward, and I think the tongue is going to a the position, interdental. It doesn't quite make closure.
Han spiser aftensmad uden kød.
It's my, so you get this diphthong effect of the raising tongue. My uden kød. He eats, so uden, utan or butan in Old English, outside. Han spiser, he eats. Here it means without. So the ut part is shared by without and this Danish word. He eats, so aftensmad, etymologically, eats
Aftensmad.
dinner. Good. Some of the meal names have shifted in these languages. I can't quite recall which. Without for this one. Kød, kød.
Han spiser aftensmad uden kød.
Kød. So this D is weakened as well.
Uden.
Uden. The incomplete closure. Lenited, like you see in Celtic. Without meat. Kjøtt. You saw elsewhere.
Det er en bog om heste.
Det er en bog Heste. Die, we could say it, is a book. It's quite like the German. Aftensmed, yeah, it's like an L because it's a weakened D. It's gesturing towards the th sound. Aftensmed, yeah, I would even lose that in the middle syllable. Aftensmed.
Det er en bog om heste.
Heste, about horses.
Han spiser aftensmad uden kød. Han spiser aftensmad uden kød.
Aftensmad uden kød.
Han spiser aftensmad uden kød.
Uden kød. So three in a row there. 3 D's with the intervening other ones there. Han spiser aftensmad uden kød.
Jeg vil gerne have kaffe med sukker.
I would like to have coffee with. Sugar.
Han skriver til kvinden.
Han skriver til kvinden. He writes. Til to. Kvinden is definite. The woman.
Skriver de til os?
Skriver de. Okay, I don't know this last word. Skriver
de
til os.
Til os.
To us.
Skriver de til os?
Version, write they to us. Are they writing us?
Vi spiser med dem.
Med dem.
Vi spiser med dem.
Med dem. Don't even need to open the mouth anymore after that. After we get to that consonant. Med dem.
Vi spiser med dem.
We eat. So think of German Speise as a cognate for this, to eat. With them. Med dem. The Greek actually has a cognate here meaning with a person. Comitative, meta, was used in that sense.
Spiser.
So we have this in midwife. Mid not meaning middle space or anything, but with the woman is the breakdown of midwife. Why is there no mid-husband?
De spiser uden mig.
De spiser uden mig. They eat without me. De spiser uden mig.
Har du en bog om piger?
You have a book about girls. Har du, do you singular, do you have en bog, a book about. Piger means girls.
Har du en bog om piger?
Har du en bog om piger?
Jeg skriver til dig.
Til dig. The final consonants dropped. And
Ja.
these little words, the high frequency ones. Jeg skriver til dig. Til dig.
Jeg skriver til dig.
Til dig. From til dig. Jeg skriver til dig. That's cool. Jeg skriver til dig. Jeg. Dig.
De spiser uden mig.
Eat without me. It's a nice minimal pair. They eat without meat. They eat without me. Han læser.
Han læser.
With the ash ligature for A for the umlauted. Oh, is it umlauted? It's whatever it is. En bog.
En bog.
About a bear. Indefinite.
En
bjørn.
bjørn.
Bjørn. Back model stop. I think that's the stød. He plays with the dogs. Leia is leker in the related languages here. Leia, I suppose it would be. Han leger med hundene.
Han leger
Leger
med
med
hundene.
hunde. Okay, not fronted. Hunde. Han leger med hundene. Do ligatures count as diacritics or accents? I suppose it depends what you use it for. I don't know what the official Alphabet Institute deems in that case. Answer all of my teasing cognate questions. Okay, for touching, rører, have you thought of a German cognate there? Rører ved mean so and so, rører ved so and so. X touches Y. Let's split this circle, do one more leg of the journey.
Fuglen er bag hestene.
Bag hestene. The bird is behind the horses. In back of.
Bag.
Hestene has the plural definite ending.
Jeg tager min jakke af.
Ta min jakke af. So this one mutates too, even though it's not.
A.
It is still dental. Okay. A.
Jeg tager min jakke af.
Min jakke af. I take my jacket off. I don't hear an F there anymore, but it's affected the sound of the A. Take min jakke.
Jeg tager min jakke af.
Min jakke af. A and off is a pretty cool sound correspondence. A.
Katten er under min skjorte.
Under
Under.
min skjorte. So not weakened to the fricative here. You hear it as a sk followed by yeah. The cat is under min possessive shirt. Oh, not skirt, but shirt.
Hvad har du under hatten?
Rohren, yeah. Feels like a word. I don't know verb rohren. I know das Rohr is a pipe. Berühren is to touch. And it's written with H. Berühren is the spelling. And this one's transitive. X touches Y. Hvad har du under hatten? Hætten?
Hvad har du under hatten?
Hætten? Hvad?
Hvad har du under hatten?
So listen to the different sounds of the vowel spelled A. Hvad here? A.
Har.
Then hætten.
Hatten. Hvad har du under hatten?
Hvad har du under hætten? Hvad har du under hætten?
Pigen løber efter drengen.
Just below the threshold the first time. The girl løber efter or runs. Here's that verb again. Kind of the theme of the day. Tying all our languages together. Løber runs. X runs. So English leap, that family. German laufen. Dutch lopen. What else do we see? Do we see any other Norse cognates? Pigen løber efter drengen.
Pigen løber efter drengen.
The girl runs after. Word for word, runs
Efter.
Efter the girl. Boy. Pigen, girl, dreng.
Drengen.
Katten er under min skjorte.
Katten er under min skjorte.
Katten
Er
under
min
skjorte.
skjorte. Nej, det er ikke mig. Det er ikke jeg.
Nej,
Det
er ikke
Oh, the object form, look at that.
mig.
Like English and just like Polish. Danish German Who's the one just now? No, here it is. Ow. Laufen. Yeah. It's not quite one to one. There's a lot of factors involved. Løber. Rører. We have berühren. German here has laufen. This laufen. I think that Norse may have come from a y suffix and been umlauted. Laupjanan or something. Let's look that up. Wiktionary ought to know about that. Pretty. So it's going to be a P, which we preserve in English leap, and Dutch lope. Danish regularly weakens it by voicing it. Actually, even further. To run, Läufer. The sense bishop. Okay. Runner, not the noun, but oh, cool. The Danish names of the chess pieces. I didn't know this was a category. Wiksh, that's pretty cool. Løber. Hlaupana. That's Proto-Germanic. So, okay. Not a yod suffix. Just that's the outcome of owl. Bread has it too. But their German has bold. Wait, how does Danish spell it? Can't remember.
Hun tager frakken af.
Frakken.
Frakken.
He takes the coat off. Hun tager frakken af. Note that the K doesn't change it to an E.
Frakken.
The F does. The F involves the teeth. That's the key. Tongue going towards the teeth, I guess. But the tongue isn't involved for an F, so that's odd. F. A. she is hun takes off the coat. Fracken.
Frakken.
This one is kind of a funny, fun family of words. German Rock is
Frakken.
Rock had an older voiceless H. Rock. And that one in France was reinterpreted as an FR cluster for frock.
Jeg læser det efter hende.
Jeg læser det efter hende. Or that was just the regular Frankish outcome. Jeg læser det efter hende. I read after her. Jeg læser det efter hende.
Brødet er bag ham.
Okay, the bread is spelled with ø.
Brødet.
And the weakened D colors the vowel, the bread. Er bag ham is behind him. Prepositional phrases, just like English, not
Jeg
postpositions.
læser det efter hende.
Jeg
Hende.
læser det efter hende.
Jeg læser det efter hende.
Jeg læser det efter hende.
Hvem er bag dig?
Er bag dig. Who is behind you? Creepy question. We do not swim after eating. Okay. Eating, probably with an infinitive. Vi svømmer ikke. Svømmer.
Vi svømmer ikke efter mad.
Food after meal. So a noun. Yeah. I take. Jeg tager. Jeg tager. Ja.
Jeg tager
Min. Okay. Min jakke. Jakke.
min jakke af.
Tager min jakke af. That A to F is really remarkable. The F coloring it to an A. Because it can't really be. I guess it's jaw motion that does it. To go to a F, we need to bring the jaw up. F. To make that closure. Actually, we don't need to. You kind of need to. F. So there's a natural raising of the jaw in that sequence. And that results in an E sound in modern English. Here, diphthong I. A. A rich, interesting little language here, Danish. Little in terms of number of speakers. It's quite a small country. Alright, let's go back to Yiddish before I call it an evening. Any other requests? Request lessons? Or you could call them requestens.
Is dus an Ei, zi an Ananas?
Is this an egg? See.
See.
What?
I. See.
See mean, okay, see to pull I get, but how does it mean or? Fascinating. The Yiddish one. Okay, Slavic language. See if. That's pretty cool. That's a cool thing to borrow. Pretty keen. See if. Introduce a yes-no question. Alright, now we're getting somewhere.
Is dus an Ei, zi an Ananas?
So just for knowing German, it's not enough to get this construction. You get it certain. It's not from German. Is dus, with inversion, is this an Ei?
Is dus an Ei, zi an Ananas?
An eye, an egg, or a pineapple. It's apple. So compare Apfelsine with this compound order. Pineapple, at least the word forms, views it as a kind of apple. It's an apple-like thing, not really a pine-like thing.
Ich hab nicht keine Ahnung, wie is.
But the Apfelsine, Apfelsine, is apple of China. The modifying part, second, like surgeon general, is a kind of surgeon, not a kind of general.
Ich hab nicht keine Ahnung, wie is.
Wie it is, where he is. Ich hab nicht keine Ahnung, the harmonic negation. No idea. Wie it is, where he is. Where is he?
Wen kommt
Wenn. Okay, I need to get my Yiddish keyboard. Lexi logos. Y for Yiddish. Not Yoruba today, but Yiddish. Okay, we got there.
Wen kommt
Wenn. When. V-E-N. Kimt. It's going to be K-U-M-T. So Vav. Kimt er. E with ein. Ra. Wen kommt look at that. Doesn't get the ein. Yeah, it felt kind of wrong. That's fascinating. So is the copula that has ein, yud, zayin, ein on zayin. And then, but this by itself can stand initially. I guess there's no ambiguity. Know where pineapple comes from? Where ananas comes from the New World, South America, I believe. Yeah. Which the fruit, I think, is also from there. Ananas. In German, it has the S in the singular form. Old Tupi nanas, excellent fruit. Tupi. And where's that spoken? Hey, Levi, would you mind looking up a good map? A nice safe one for the Tupi speaking area.
The Thai is Daner.
Thai, the T is Daner. Okay, look, we got inflection on our possessive word here. T is yours.
The Thai is Maner.
Der Thai is meiner. The T, same word order, is mine. And all these words are related. Thai, of course, ultimately. Thai and T. It's not inherited, but they come from Chinese, ultimately.
Heißt Alter.
Nice alter. His name is Alter.
Dus is mijn chaver, woont in Jerusalem.
This is man Chaver. Woont in Jerusalem. This is my friend. Das is. Woont. Yeah, same word. Lives in Jerusalem. Speaking of compounds with head initial word order, not sure what Jeru is, but Salem of peace, city of peace or dwelling of peace or something. The seat of peace.
Kimt.
Kimt. So remember that it was Quiman in the older stage of Germanic. It's Kimt. But this is spelled with U. It was Kumt or Kommt, like German. He's coming.
Is dus English zu Yiddish?
Zu Yiddish. Is das English zu Yiddish? Das is this inversion. English. Zu or Yiddish. Is mein Mann. He is my husband.
Is der guten Maner oder Daner?
Is der gut? Is der Garten, the garden. Manner oder. We have that too, instead of tse. Danner is the garden.
Gurten.
Gurten is the garden. By the way, it's Gurten and so on. Thank you, Levi. It's related to the Slavic Gorat, city, meaning an enclosed place. Work error. Free. Nice. Here we go. Wow, all over the place there. I don't know my South American countries well at all. Oh, no, this is all Brazil. I know that much. These are different provinces of Brazil. Almost entirely within the borders of modern Brazil, except here, I think. Tupi violet, Tupi Guarani pink. And early probable areas pink gray. Very nice. So diminishing returns here for zooming in. Is der Gordon meiner? Is it mine? Or thine or yours?
Is dus an apple zu a bar?
Is dus an apple? Si a bar. Pear. Is this an apple or pear?
Der Computer is nicht meiner.
The computer is not mine. Is nicht meiner. Der
Computer.
So here, vav for the u, for still u, recent borrowing from English. Computer is nicht meiner.
Du is mijn computer. Wie is damer?
So to me, the distribution of man, maner seems to be maner if it's after the noun, man if it's before as a determiner.
Du is mijn computer. Wie is damer?
Here is my computer. Where's yours?
Wen komt er?
Wen kimt er? So, wen komt er? Wen kimt er? When is it coming? The computer is... Yeah, that works. You could also use the verb gehören. Gehört nicht mir. That's perfectly natural. It's nicht meine. Das, you could, or put the pointing word alone as a subject. Das ist nicht mein Computer. That would be neuter because it's pointing rather than agreeing. But der Computer ist nicht meiner, yeah, would be the one correct way to say that with that particular construction. Maybe just to give it a totally different spin at the end. So we also did German. Is that all of them? We did Danish too. Okay. Let's do a spot of Japanese and then call it a night. Just there it is. Family 2.
娘は9歳です。
娘は9歳です。The woman
娘は
is 9 years old. So, numerals, almost always in Japanese, can be followed by some kind of a unit, a counting word. Here, sai for years of age. 9 歳, 9 years old.
彼女は私の親戚ではありません。
親戚 relative ではありません. So we have two was here, but this de wa, that one's part of the verbal complex. Topic is just 彼女. She, ではありません is the negative of being she is not. 私の親戚, my relative. In Chinese, 親
戚
戚 chi for that.
彼女は
Let's look at how to enter that. 親戚. Okay. 親 has Y-D on the left, B-U-U. And okay, let's focus a little. Chi, and now chi. This got the I, spear on top. Okay, we're already lost. I guess if you ignore it a while, it gets that way. Chi has I, and then a Y, no, H is next. Y, F, MF. We write all five. IH for the enclosure. So it's still 2 plus 3. I and H. And then for the lower part, we write it in full. The Y shape, the M, and then the xiao variant of F. 亲戚. Also, yeah, that's the modern PRC simplification. And it's also written with an extended heart there on the right. 亲戚 or 亲戚. 亲戚. Family relation. Immediate family in classical Chinese. 親戚, 親척, 親戚. 親戚.
「あなたと彼女は親戚ですか？」
彼女は So let's get the kanji first. 彼女 V. 彼 That one is H-O-D-H-E. 彼女は
あなたと彼女は親戚ですか？
親戚. Okay, the one we just input. Y-D-B-U-U. chi. I-H-Y-N-F. There. Desu ka. These are the kanji we need. So, starting with anata to kanojo wa shinseki desu ka. So, kanojo has a couple quite divergent meanings.
あなたと彼女は親戚ですか？
It can mean either she, like here, are you and she relatives? Or it can mean girlfriend. Anata to. Oh, I put them in the wrong order. Jokat heads. Time to call it a night here. This makes no sense. Kanojo. The jo stands for the woman. That order. Wa shinseki desu ka?
息子は3歳です。
Inverted them. It's not a mistake I normally make. Musuko, the son. Wa topic. Sanzai desu.
息子は3歳です。
Sansai, not voicing. My son, Musuko, is 3 years old. Kaki,
書き、
writing, drawing. Shinseki,
親戚、
relative. Musume,
娘、
my daughter. Humble form, Musuko.
息子、
Son, same.
歌。彼女は私の娘です。
Kanojo wa watashi no musume desu. She, topic. Watashi no musume, my daughter, is. Musuko, my son.
息子、
Musume.
娘、
So ko, child, versus me, woman, but with the same musu. Shinseki.
親戚、
Narai,
習い、
learning. Sampo,
散歩。
a promenade, a walk.
息子の名前は茂です。
Musuko no namae wa Shigeru desu. My son, his name, topic, is Shigeru. Luxuriance. Shigeru. 3 syllables. Kanojo wa watashi no musume desu. Musume desu. My daughter, not my son.
娘の名前は桜です。
Musume no namae wa Sakura desu. My daughter. So, here we're not seeing watashi no. There's not explicit mention of the self to say my daughter, but this particular noun form, because it's humble, will only be applied to one's own family. No, namae. My daughter's name is Sakura desu. It is Sakura.
息子さんは何歳ですか？
Musuko-san wa nansai desu ka? My son's name. No. How old is my son? Okay, not true what I was saying here. Your son,
ジョンとマリアは親戚です。
Maria wa shinseki desu. John and Maria are relatives, their family.
娘は5歳です。
Musume wa 5歳desu. You're saying it's mine because no one else is mentioned. Is 5.
娘は8歳です。
My daughter, Musume. 8歳, a contracted form of the numeral. 8 years old.
あなたと彼女は親戚ですか？
Basic form there, hachi, loses its e, and the ta becomes fused with the following sa.
あなたと彼女は親戚ですか？
H-O-D-H-E. Wrong keyboard. Kanojo, H-O-D-H-E. V-jo, kanojo wa
あなたと彼女は親戚ですか？
shinseki, Y-D-E-U-U. I-H-Y, there it is. Shinseki desu ka? あなたと彼女は親戚ですか? So these complex looking ones, if you're new to Japanese, these are written word forms taken from Chinese. Sometimes they write native words. Sometimes they write words that themselves actually are Chinese, like this one, shinseki. And then we have other bits of the sentence spelled phonetically. You and she, are you relatives?
息子さんは何歳ですか？
How old is your son? It's a much less embarrassing question to ask, unless you're coming out of a coma. Well, I thank you for watching. I'm going to put my brain into recovery mode, and I'll see you next time.